Did you know that over 70% of men over 50 are practicing intimate habits that could be silently affecting their health? If you're a mature gentleman and you've ever wondered whether you're doing things the right way, this message is for you. I'm Dr. Natalie Brooks, and I've spent over 2 decades specializing in men's health here in Canada, working everywhere from community health centers in Toronto to private practices across the GTA. What I'm about to share with you today could completely transform your well-being and vitality. Look, there's a silent crisis happening right now that's affecting thousands of Canadian men over 50, and sadly, most don't even realize it's happening. Let me ask you something really direct. Have you noticed your energy isn't what it used to be? Do you wake up tired for no apparent reason? Are you experiencing discomfort in your intimate areas that you didn't have before? If you answered yes to any of these questions, stick with me, because what you're about to discover in the next several minutes could be the answer you've been searching for. Now, before we dive in, I want to be crystal clear about something. Recent studies show some really important benefits of regular intimate activity for men over 50, including reduced risk of prostate cancer, better sleep, stress relief, and improved cardiovascular health. These benefits are real and backed by solid research. But here's the thing that nobody's talking about. The technique and frequency matter just as much as the activity itself. It's like going to the gym. Exercise is great for you, but if you're doing it wrong, you can actually hurt yourself. That's exactly what's happening with thousands of men across Canada who, through no fault of their own, are unknowingly sabotaging their own masculine health. During my years of practice in the Canadian healthcare system, from working with patients covered by provincial health plans to private consultations across Ontario and BC, I've seen the same story over and over again. Strong men, hard workers, devoted fathers and grandfathers who come into my office confused, frustrated, wondering why their bodies aren't responding the way they used to. Let me tell you about Robert, a patient of mine. He was 64 years old, drove a transport truck across the prairies for over 30 years. He came to my practice because he'd completely lost his drive. He confessed to me, his voice breaking with embarrassment, that he'd been practicing self-stimulation almost daily for decades, truly believing it was keeping him healthy. What he didn't know was that his inadequate technique had been gradually damaging his sensitivity and exhausting his entire system. After 3 months of following the recommendations I'm going to share with you today, Robert called me with tears of joy. Not only had he recovered his vitality, but his marriage had flourished in ways it hadn't in years. His wife even sent me a beautiful thank you card with a Tim Hortons gift card tucked inside. Now, before I continue, I need you to understand something fundamental. What we're going to discuss today isn't just medical theory. These are specific, evidence-based techniques that I've adapted for our Canadian lifestyle and reality. Because we Canadians have unique characteristics. Our climate, our healthcare system, our cultural approach to wellness. All of this influences how our bodies function and how we approach intimate health. The first devastating secret I need to reveal is the most common and destructive of them all. It's called the rush technique, and it's literally killing the masculine sensitivity of entire generations of men. Have you noticed you need more stimulation to achieve the same satisfaction you used to get? Do you feel like you have to force the process? If so, you're probably falling into this trap. You see, after age 50, our nervous and circulatory systems naturally change. Blood flow becomes more delicate, nerve endings require more time to activate, and our hormones fluctuate differently. But here's the problem. Most men continue using the same aggressive technique they used when they were 30. It's like trying to start a vintage car engine with the brute force you'd use on a modern machine. Not only does it not work, but you can permanently damage the components. When you force self-stimulation with rapid movements and excessive pressure, you're causing microtraumas to the tissue. Imagine each aggressive movement is like very fine sandpaper, scraping the most sensitive surface of your anatomy. At first you don't notice it, but over time that surface hardens, forms scar tissue, and permanently loses sensitivity. A recent study from researchers at the University of Toronto documented that 68% of Canadian men over 55 who presented with loss of sensitivity had a history of inadequate self-stimulation techniques. Even more alarming, The damage in many cases was irreversible. But not all is lost. There's an alternative technique developed specifically for mature men that not only prevents damage, but can help recover lost sensitivity. I call it the conscious caress technique, and it's based on principles of modern neurology combined with mindfulness practices. Instead of fast, aggressive movements, this technique uses gentle touches, conscious pauses, and what I call pelvic breathing. It's a breathing technique that helps oxygenate the entire pelvic area. Many of my patients report that they not only recover sensitivity, but experience more intense and satisfying sensations than they had in their youth. The second deadly secret is what I call compulsive release syndrome. This error is literally draining the vital energy of thousands of Canadian men, leaving them exhausted, depressed, and unmotivated for life. Let me ask you a direct question. How often do you practice self-stimulation? If your answer is daily or several times a week, you need to pay very close attention to what I'm about to say, because you could be making a mistake that's robbing you of years of vitality. Contrary to what many believe after age 50, frequent ejaculation isn't necessarily healthy. In fact, it can be profoundly exhausting for your hormonal system. Your body needs time to recover, to regenerate vital proteins, to rebalance hormones, and to allow your prostate to recuperate. Think of it this way. When you were young, your body was like an Olympic athlete who could run a marathon and recover in hours. Now your body is like a wise master who can walk long distances but needs strategic pauses to maintain strength and wisdom. Recent studies from the Canadian Institute for Health Research confirmed that older men who practice daily ejaculation show consistently lower testosterone levels, more chronic fatigue, and higher incidence of prostate problems compared to those who maintain a frequency of 2 to 3 times per week. Now, I'm not saying you should stop. What I'm saying is that moderation and listening to your body becomes increasingly important as we age. The third devastating secret involves something most men completely ignore: post-activity prostate care. This small organ, about the size of a walnut, is literally the heart of your masculine vitality. But most men treat it like it's indestructible. Your prostate is like a reliable Honda Civic. Tough, dependable, but it needs proper maintenance to function optimally for decades. Every time you experience a release, your prostate works intensely, contracting multiple times, producing essential fluids, and then it needs time to drain and recover. Here's the deadly mistake. Most men finish their intimate practice and immediately continue with their normal activities without giving the prostate time to drain completely. It's like revving an engine and then shutting it off immediately without letting it cool down. Over time, this causes prostatic congestion, inflammation, and can eventually lead to urinary problems. The solution is surprisingly simple, but extraordinarily effective. After any release, dedicate 5 to 10 minutes to what I call gentle perineal care. It's an external technique that involves gentle pressure on the perineum, the area between the testicles and anus, combined with deep breathing. This technique helps the prostate drain completely, reduces inflammation, and prevents the congestion that can lead to urinary issues. Additionally, it's crucial to urinate after each release. This helps clean the urethra of any residual fluids that could cause irritation. Basic maintenance that prevents major problems down the road. The fourth secret has to do with something no doctor in Canada is going to tell you outright: the connection between your intimate practices and your cardiovascular health. What you do in private is directly affecting your heart, your blood pressure, and your longevity. Every time you experience sexual arousal, your body releases a cascade of hormones and neurotransmitters. Your heart races, your blood pressure increases, and your vascular system goes into high gear. In young men, this is like cardiovascular exercise, beneficial and strengthening. But in men over 50, especially those with cardiovascular risk factors like hypertension, diabetes, or a history of heart problems, inadequate self-stimulation can be literally dangerous. I've seen cases of men who've suffered cardiovascular events during or immediately after intimate practices. The key is what I call erotic cardiovascular training. These are techniques that allow you to experience pleasure while keeping your heart rate in safe zones. This includes controlled breathing techniques, strategic pauses during activity, and methods to extend pleasure without overloading your cardiovascular system. The fifth deadly secret is body posture during self-stimulation. Most Canadian men make postural errors that are literally compressing vital organs and reducing blood flow to critical areas. Are you practicing self-stimulation sitting on the edge of your bed, hunched forward? Or maybe lying in a position that compresses your abdomen? These postures, although they seem comfortable, are creating pressure on your prostate, reducing blood flow to your pelvic organs, and potentially causing circulation problems that can affect your erectile function long-term. The optimal posture for mature men involves keeping the spine erect, hips slightly elevated, and allowing gravity to help blood flow to the organs. It's about working with your body's natural systems rather than against them. Think of it like proper ergonomics at your desk job, except this is ergonomics for intimate health. The sixth secret has to do with timing. When you practice self-stimulation can be just as important as how you do it. Your body has natural rhythms of hormone production, and working with these rhythms instead of against them can maximize benefits and minimize exhaustion. Testosterone levels in men tend to be highest in the early morning hours, between 6 and 9 a.m. However, many men practice self-stimulation at night when their hormone levels are at their lowest point. This is like trying to squeeze juice from an orange that's already been pressed. You might get something, but the effort will be greater and the result less satisfying. Adapting your intimate practices to align more closely with your body's natural rhythms not only improves the experience, but also reduces stress on your hormonal system and improves your overall quality of life. I'm not saying you can never engage in evening activities, but being aware of your body's natural peaks can help you make more informed choices. The seventh and perhaps most important secret is the mental and emotional connection during self-stimulation. Most Canadian men have been raised to view sexuality as something purely physical. But after age 50, the mental and emotional component becomes crucial for a healthy and satisfying experience. When you practice self-stimulation mechanically, without emotional connection, without mental presence, you're not only missing the opportunity for a richer experience, but you're also creating neural patterns that can lead to disconnection and loss of sensitivity. The technique I teach is called conscious self-intimacy, and it combines elements of mindfulness with modern understanding of sexual health. It involves being completely present in each sensation, practicing gratitude toward your body, and maintaining a positive emotional connection throughout the entire experience. Many of my patients report that this technique not only improves their personal intimate experience, but also strengthens their connection with their partners and improves their overall emotional well-being. Now that you know these 7 secrets, it's important you understand that knowledge without action is worthless. I've seen many men who learn these techniques but never implement them because they feel it's too much work or because they're afraid to change patterns they've maintained for decades. Let me be clear with you. Your masculine health isn't a game. It's not something you can neglect today and fix tomorrow. Every day you continue with incorrect practices is another day of cumulative damage that could become irreversible. But I also want to give you hope. I've seen men in their 70s, mid-70s, even 80s recover vitality they thought they'd lost forever. I've seen marriages that had grown cold reignite with passion. I've seen men who'd lost confidence in themselves feel like their true selves again. It starts with making the decision to care for your body with the respect and wisdom it deserves. Your body has worked for you for decades. It's carried loads, worked long hours to support your family, fought off illnesses, weathered Canadian winters and scorching summers. Now it's time for you to give back. If this message has resonated with you, if you've recognized some of these errors in your own habits, I want you to know that thousands of Canadian men are facing these same challenges, and with the right information and personal commitment, everyone can overcome them. Remember, being a mature Canadian man doesn't mean being indestructible. It means being wise enough to take care of what truly matters. Your masculine health is your responsibility, but it's also your right. You have the right to feel vital, energetic, and satisfied throughout all the decades of your life. If you need additional help, if you have questions or concerns about your personal situation, or if you want to learn more advanced techniques, don't hesitate to seek professional help. We have excellent men's health specialists across Canada, both in our public healthcare system and private practices. But the most important thing is that you start today. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when symptoms get worse, not when it's too late. Your future self will thank you for taking this step. Before we wrap up, I want to ask you a personal favor. If this video has helped you, if you've learned something valuable, please share it with other Canadian men who might need this information. We're a community, and taking care of each other is part of who we are. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos about men's health specifically designed for mature gentlemen like yourself. I have much more valuable content to share with you. Drop a comment below letting me know which of these 7 secrets surprised you most, or if you have questions about implementing these techniques. I read every comment and I'll be answering the most common questions in an upcoming video. Remember, being a mature Canadian man doesn't mean resigning yourself to decline. It means using your wisdom and experience to live better than ever. Your best version is waiting for you, and now you have the tools to reach it. Here's to many more years of health, vitality, and pride. Take care of yourselves out there, eh?